the 3rd of December 1800, Captain Grant in the Lady Nelson, just off the coast here, sighted this mountain along with a few others in the district, and he named this one Gambier. And that's of course how Mount Gambier got its name. But Mount Gambier today doesn't mean so much the mountain to most people in Australia, it means the town of Mount Gambier, which is about 18,000 population. It's just below us, down below this mountain. We've come to Mount Gambier to take a look at Mount Gambier and its history in answer to this request from Miss Mandy J. Hoare from Parkenham in Victoria, who asks to see Mount Gambier and to relate its history. Well, firstly, regarding its history, this tower behind me here was constructed in 1900 to commemorate the 100 years since Mount Gambier was discovered. Although it was discovered in 1800, it was about 40 years before a white man was to stand on this spot and gaze down upon the beauty of the lakes below. These lakes all lie in craters, and all of those craters are part of a volcano which blew its top about 5,000 years ago.
These lakes in the craters of an extinct volcano are probably the city's biggest tourist attraction. The natural beauty of the lakes and surrounding countryside is best viewed from the Centenary Tower, erected on the summit of Mount Gambier, 190 metres above sea level. The picturesque lake system so close to the city not only provides an excellent natural recreational area for the people of Mount Gambier and its visitors, but also supports an abundant waterfowl population.
These two beautiful lakes, which are in this crater valley, are known as Valley Lake, and this lake behind me is known as Browns Lake. There is no doubt that the first white man to see these lakes, in fact the whole lake system here at Mount Gambier, was Stephen Henty. He came here in 1839 looking for a place to settle with his cattle. And in 1840 he sent a group of men here. They built a hut somewhere between these two lakes on this strip of land where I'm standing. And they also built a stockyard for their 400 head of cattle. The stockyard was built down there where the lake now is. And at that stage, of course, it was dry and since filled and submerged the stockyards completely. Stephen Henty stayed here for about 5 years and managed to graze his cattle in this area. And there is no doubt that what he saw when he first came here, this lake and the other lake, and especially the blue lake of Mount Gambier, was a most impressive sight.
The magnificent Blue Lake is the most famous of the crater lakes. This remarkable lake mysteriously changes colour every year around November, from its natural grey to this rich blue. It changes almost overnight, and just as mysteriously changes back to grey again in March. Since 1883, the waters of the Blue Lake have been pumped out to provide the town water supply. Today, a modern pumping station driven by electric motors operates automatically, drawing up to 20 million litres daily from the crater without affecting the level of the lake. The lake level is fairly constant, although it has been known to change slightly, so the pumping units are mounted on pontoons. The water from the lake is good quality for an underground supply, with fairly high levels of magnesium and calcium salts. Oddly, the lake does not support life. No fish live in its waters, and even algae will not grow in the Blue Lake. Although now, of course, it could be said to support life in the sense that it provides the town's water supply. Many visitors believe the lake to be bottomless, but in fact its average depth is 73 metres, although at one spot there is a deep hole which plummets to 205 metres. There have been many theories as to why the lake changes colour annually. However, so far no one has provided a satisfactory explanation, and as long as the mystery remains unsolved, this can only add to the attraction of the Blue Lake for the thousands of visitors who make the trip each summer to see the richness of the famous Blue Lake for themselves. The city of Mount Gambier, built on the slopes of the extinct volcano, lies in the heart of rich volcanic soils and is the principal centre for the surrounding agricultural industries. It also lies midway between Adelaide and Melbourne and is a natural halfway stop for travellers making the journey by road. No stopover in Mount Gambier is complete without a look at the beautiful cave gardens right in the middle of the business centre. spiral footpath descends the flower-festooned walls of the limestone sinkhole to a depth of about 25 metres.
This cave gardens, as they're known, come as quite a pleasant surprise in the heart of Mount Gambier. This hole here, this cave, was originally full of water, or fairly full of water, and it was known as a source of water to the Aborigines originally, and way back when Mount Gambier was first established, provided the town's water supply. The Henties knew about it, and they built a hut not only down in the Valley Lake, which we saw earlier, but they built a hut here, quite near to the water. The cave these days, though, doesn't provide water for the town. It dried up some time ago. It these days provides a drainage hole instead, and all the stormwater from the streets here runs into this cave. It appears to just keep going in there, and nobody quite knows where it ends up.
Who knows, perhaps after filtering through the rock, the water could end up in the Blue Lake. The district of Mount Gambier is also well known for its limestone, or Mount Gambier stone as it is more commonly referred to. About 11 kilometres west of the city are large open-cut quarries where the almost pure calcium carbonate is cut into convenient building blocks. This creamy white stone is easy to cut, it's light, strong, and has good insulating qualities, and it's been used as a building material for over 100 years. It was formed millions of years ago when this area was under the ocean and was created by the efforts of tiny coralline creatures working on the seabed, lacing together this calcified mass. In earlier times it was quarried with cross-cut saws, but mechanised methods came into use after World War II. The deposit of coralline limestone lies in a straight line for 7 kilometres and varies in depth from 2 to 6 metres. It's been popular as a building material ever since the settlers discovered it, and many of Mount Gambier's homes and prominent buildings, like the hospital, are constructed from Mount Gambier stone. There is no doubt, though, that the magnificent Blue Lake of Mount Gambier's extinct volcano is the district's most famous asset. Its bewildering blueness never ceases to fascinate those that see it.
Travel all over the countryside, ask the Leylands, ask the Leylands. Travel all over the countryside, ask the Leyland brothers. Whatever it is that you want to see, ask the Leylands, ask the Leylands. No matter whatever that happens to be, ask the Leyland brothers.